Once upon a time, in a remote village surrounded by lush green fields and gentle hills, there lived a humble farmer named On Hung. He spent his days tending to his crops and taking care of his livestock, but his closest companion was a loyal dog named Kem. Kem was not just any dog, he was a beautiful golden retriever, full of energy and love, always by On Hung's side, whether working in the fields or resting in the shade. One sunny afternoon, as On Hung was digging a new well, the ground beneath him suddenly gave way. With a loud crash, he fell into a deep, dry well. Stunned and unable to climb out, he called for help, but the village was quiet, and no one was around to hear his cries. As the sun began to set, despair crept into his heart. But Kem, who had been frolicking nearby, sensed that something was wrong. He barked loudly, pacing back and forth at the edge of the well, his eyes filled with concern. On Hung called out to him, urging him to find help. Without a moment's hesitation, Kem took off running. He raced through the fields, across the village, and into the neighboring woods, determined to save his master. Kem's journey was not easy. He faced obstacles, from thorny bushes to steep hills, but nothing could deter his loyal spirit. He barked and howled, trying to get the attention of anyone who might hear. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he stumbled upon a group of villagers gathered for a festival. With frantic barks and a wagging tail, he led them back towards the well. The villagers, puzzled but concerned, followed Kem as he guided them straight to On Hung's side. When they peered into the well and saw On Hung, they quickly formulated a plan. With ropes and teamwork, they pulled him out safely, much to his relief and gratitude. From that day on, Kem became a hero in the village. His brave act of loyalty spread like wildfire, and everyone began to tell the story of the courageous dog who saved his master. Villagers would stop by On Hung's farm, bringing treats for Kem and asking to hear the tale of his bravery. Kem, however, remained humble, enjoying his days running through the fields and playing with On Hung. The bond between them grew even stronger, their friendship an embodiment of loyalty and love. The villagers began to see Kem as more than just a pet. He became a symbol of devotion and faithfulness, teaching everyone the true meaning of friendship. As seasons changed and years passed, the story of On Hung and Kem was passed down through generations. It became a cherished legend in the village, reminding everyone of the importance of loyalty and the unbreakable bonds that can exist between a person and their four-legged friend. In every heart, the tale of Kem, the dog who raced against time to save his master, would forever echo, a timeless reminder of courage, love, and friendship. As time went on, the bond between On Hung and Kem only deepened. Every morning, they would start their day together, wandering through the fields as the sun rose, breathing in the fresh morning air. On Hung would often talk to Kem as if he were a confidant, sharing his dreams and worries, and Kem would listen intently, his eyes full of understanding. One day, as they were working in the fields, On Hung noticed something unusual. A storm was brewing on the horizon, dark clouds rolling in quickly. He could sense the change in the air, and he knew he needed to finish harvesting the last of the crops before the rain hit. Kem, ever observant, seemed to understand the urgency as well. The two of them worked tirelessly, side by side, gathering the crops. Suddenly, as the wind picked up and the first drops of rain began to fall, Kem started barking excitedly. On Hung looked up to see a family of deer appearing at the edge of the field, seemingly lost and frightened by the approaching storm. They were searching for shelter, and On Hung's heart went out to them. Without hesitation, On Hung called to Kem. "Let's help them," he said, and together they approached the deer, trying to calm them. Kem, with his gentle nature, seemed to ease their fear. On Hung led the deer towards a nearby grove of trees, a natural shelter from the storm. As they reached the grove, the rain began to pour, but On Hung felt a warmth in his heart knowing they had provided safety to the frightened creatures. He looked at Kem, who stood by his side, tail wagging proudly. "You're not just a friend, you're a hero in your own right," On Hung said, patting Kem on the head. Once the storm passed, the villagers came out to check on their crops and livestock. When they heard about On Hung's act of kindness towards the deer, they were inspired. They began to realize that the values of loyalty and compassion extended beyond just humans and dogs. They were part of a larger community that included all living beings. In the following weeks, the villagers organized a gathering to honor Kem and Anhung. They invited everyone from the surrounding areas, turning the event into a celebration of kindness and community spirit. There were games, food, and stories shared around a large bonfire, with the highlight being the tale of Kem's bravery and Anhung's compassion for the deer. As the night wore on, the villagers spoke about how they could support one another and protect the animals in their area. Inspired by Kem's actions, they formed a small group dedicated to caring for the wildlife around their village. They set up feeding stations and created safe paths for animals to travel, ensuring that no creature would be left in danger. Kem became a regular fixture at these gatherings, always drawing the attention of children who would play with him, and adults who would share stories of their own pets and the lessons they had learned from them. His presence served as a reminder of the deep connections that could be formed through acts of kindness and loyalty. Years passed, and Anhung and Kem continued to grow older together. They faced challenges, as all farmers do, but their spirits remained unbroken. The village flourished, not only because of the hard work of its people but also due to the sense of unity and compassion that had developed. Kem, now gray around the muzzle, would still race through the fields, his spirit undiminished, reminding everyone that age is just a number when you have love and loyalty in your heart. And as Anhung looked at his faithful companion, he knew that their story would live on in the hearts of everyone they had touched, an everlasting legacy of friendship, bravery, and the importance of caring for all creatures, big and small. And so, in the small village where they had once faced a storm and saved a family of deer, the story of Anhung and Kem would forever be cherished, a beautiful reminder of how one loyal friend could change the lives of many. As the years went by, the village thrived in ways that Anhung and Kem could hardly have imagined. Inspired by their story, the villagers began to celebrate an annual festival in honor of loyalty, kindness, and the deep bonds that exist between humans and animals. The festival became a cherished tradition, drawing people from nearby villages to share in the joy, food, and festivities. On the day of the festival, the entire village transformed into a vibrant celebration of life and community. Colorful banners decorated the streets, and the scent of delicious foods wafted through the air. Villagers set up stalls showcasing handmade crafts, baked goods, and fresh produce. Children ran about, laughter echoing as they played games, while families gathered to share stories and enjoy each other's company. At the heart of the festival was a special ceremony dedicated to Kem and Anhung. As the sun began to set, villagers would gather around a large bonfire, where they would recount the story of the courageous dog and his devoted owner. The tales would vary, with each villager adding their own twist, but the core message of loyalty and compassion remained the same. That evening, as the fire crackled and sparks danced into the night sky, Anhung would stand before the crowd, a smile on his face and Kem by his side. He would share how Kem had not only saved his life but also inspired an entire community to look out for one another. "It's not just about us," he would say, gesturing to the gathering. "It's about how we can all work together to create a better world for every creature, big and small." As the festival continued, villagers would bring their own pets, allowing Kem to meet new friends. The sight of him playing joyfully with the children and their animals filled Anhung's heart with warmth. Kem's spirit remained infectious, reminding everyone that joy and love could be found in the simplest of moments. One year, a newcomer arrived in the village just before the festival. Her name was Lin, and she had moved from the city in search of a quieter life. As she walked through the village, she was captivated by the sense of community and warmth that enveloped her. Curious, she followed the sounds of laughter and music, eventually finding herself at the festival. Watching the festivities, Lin felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. She observed Anhung and Kem, and the bond they shared stirred something deep within her. Drawn to the story of their loyalty, she approached Anhung, eager to learn more. "Excuse me," she said with a shy smile. "I've heard so much about you and your dog. It's inspiring to see how one animal can bring everyone together." Anhung smiled back, his eyes twinkling with pride. "Kem is more than just a dog, he's a reminder of what it means to be a friend. Would you like to hear our story? As they talked, Lin shared her own experiences of feeling disconnected in the bustling city. An Heng listened intently, and as they spoke, she felt a bond forming between them. Over the following weeks, Lin found herself returning to the village often, helping An Heng with his farming and learning more about the close-knit community. Kem took an immediate liking to Lin, and the two formed a special connection. They would often go on long walks together, exploring the fields and sharing stories. Lin's laughter echoed through the fields, and she found herself gradually falling in love with the simplicity of village life. One day, as they rested under a shady tree, Lin turned to An Heng. "I've never felt this way before," she admitted. "Being here, with you and Kem, has changed me. I want to stay and help the village." An Heng's heart swelled with happiness. "We would be glad to have you. The more, the merrier. Together, we can do even more for our community and our beloved animals." As the seasons changed, Lin became an integral part of village life. She helped organize events and worked on the animal care initiative that had been inspired by Kem's bravery. Her dedication and love for the community blossomed, and she quickly became known as the village's gentle spirit. Kem, now a bit older, remained a constant presence in Lin's life. They formed a special bond, with Lin often finding comfort in his company. The villagers loved seeing the trio, An Heng, Kem, and Lin, together, as they embodied the spirit of friendship and community that had grown from that one fateful day in the well. As the years rolled on, the village continued to flourish. The lessons learned from Kem's loyalty spread throughout the community, inspiring people to look out for one another and to extend kindness to all living beings. The annual festival grew larger with each passing year, becoming a celebration of not just loyalty, but of compassion and unity. Through it all, An Heng, Kem, and Lin stood together, a testament to the power of love and friendship. They knew that true heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they simply run alongside you, wagging their tails, reminding you that every small act of kindness can change the world. And as they watched the sun set on yet another beautiful day, surrounded by the laughter and love of their community, they felt grateful for the journey that had brought them together. In that moment, they knew their story would continue to inspire generations to come, a story of loyalty, compassion, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship that transcended time. As the years continued to pass, the village's bond with nature deepened, largely due to the influence of An Heng, Kem, and Lin. They not only celebrated loyalty but also became stewards of the land, advocating for sustainable farming practices and animal welfare. The villagers worked together to create a thriving ecosystem, planting trees, maintaining clean water sources, and creating habitats for wildlife. One spring, they decided to expand their efforts by organizing a Nature Day, a community event focused on education and conservation. The goal was to teach the villagers, especially the children, about the importance of protecting their environment and the creatures that inhabited it. An Heng and Lin took the lead, planning activities that would engage the community and foster a love for the land. As the day approached, excitement filled the air. The village was bustling with preparation. Children painted colorful signs to mark trails, and the adults built educational displays about local wildlife and sustainable practices. Kem, ever the center of attention, was included in every activity. The children loved to paint his paws and create art with his prints, celebrating him as a symbol of their connection to nature. On the day of the event, villagers gathered at the community center, where the air was filled with laughter and the delicious scent of homemade food. Lin started the day by sharing a story about the importance of protecting nature, using Kem as an example of how every creature plays a vital role in the ecosystem. "Just like Kem is our loyal friend, the animals and plants around us are our friends too," she explained. "We must take care of them as they take care of us." After the opening ceremony, the villagers split into groups for various activities. Some went on guided nature walks, led by An Heng, who shared his knowledge about the local flora and fauna. Others participated in a tree planting project, which Lin organized, aiming to increase the village's green cover and provide more habitats for wildlife. Kem became the unofficial mascot of the day, happily trotting alongside the children as they learned about the plants and animals in their surroundings. He would stop to sniff at flowers and chase butterflies, embodying the joy of being alive and connected to nature. In the afternoon, a local elder shared stories about the village's history and its relationship with the land. His tales captivated the audience, illustrating how the community had always worked hand in hand with nature. The villagers felt a renewed sense of pride in their heritage, inspired to preserve it for future generations. As the sun began to set, they gathered once more around a bonfire, sharing their experiences of the day. The fire crackled as the warm glow illuminated their faces, and Lin encouraged everyone to share one thing they had learned. Villagers took turns expressing their newfound appreciation for the environment, pledging to take small steps to protect it, whether by planting more trees, caring for animals, or simply being more mindful of their impact on nature. That night, under a starry sky, they celebrated with songs, dancing, and storytelling. Kem lay comfortably at On Hung's feet, enjoying the warmth of the fire and the love surrounding him. As the laughter echoed in the night, On Hung looked around, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He realized that this was what it meant to build a community, one rooted in compassion, love, and respect for all living beings. In the years that followed, Nature Day became a cherished tradition. It grew larger each year, attracting visitors from neighboring villages who wanted to experience the magic of the community. The villagers, inspired by their shared commitment to the environment, continued to implement sustainable practices, resulting in a thriving ecosystem that flourished. As Kem aged gracefully, his spirit remained as vibrant as ever. He became a beloved elder himself, often seen lounging in the sun, watching the children play. His presence was a constant reminder of the lessons he had imparted: loyalty, kindness, and the importance of nurturing the world around them. One autumn, as the leaves turned brilliant shades of orange and gold, a new chapter unfolded in the village. Lin announced that she was expecting a child, and the village buzzed with excitement. The news brought the community even closer, as they rallied around her, sharing in the joy and preparing to welcome the newest member of their close-knit family. As the months went by, Lin embraced her pregnancy with the same passion she had for her work in the village. On Hung often assisted her, ensuring she had everything she needed. The bond between them deepened, marked by shared dreams of raising a child surrounded by love, nature, and the cherished values that defined their community. When the day finally arrived, the village celebrated the birth of Lin and On Hung's child, a beautiful baby girl they named Hoa, meaning flower. The villagers gathered to welcome the little one with open arms, showering her with gifts of handmade blankets, toys, and words of wisdom. Kem, now a bit slower but still full of life, seemed to understand that a new journey had begun. He watched over Hoa with a gentle gaze, always by her side as she grew. The bond between them was immediate. As she took her first steps, it was Kem who was there, encouraging her with soft nudges and playful barks. As the seasons changed, so did the village. Hoa thrived in this loving environment, surrounded by family and friends who taught her the values of kindness, respect, and love for nature. She often joined her parents in their work, helping plant trees, care for animals, and participate in the annual festivals. With each passing year, the village continued to grow, but its heart remained the same. The stories of On Hung, Kem, and Lin became legends that inspired not just the villagers but everyone who heard them. They were tales of courage, compassion, and the incredible power of friendship, reminding all who listened that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can create ripples of change in the world. And so, as Kem rested in the warm sun, surrounded by laughter and love, the village knew that his legacy would live on through the generations to come. They were committed to honoring his spirit by nurturing their bonds with each other and with the land, ensuring that the lessons learned would never be forgotten. In the heart of that small village, the story of loyalty and love continued to blossom, just like the flowers that filled the fields each spring, vibrant and full of life. As the years rolled on, little Hoa grew into a curious and spirited girl, often exploring the village with Kem by her side. She loved the stories her parents told her about the adventures of Kem and On Hung, and she was eager to create her own tales. The bond between them was unbreakable. Kem had become her protector and best friend, always encouraging her to embrace the world around her. One summer day, while playing in the fields, Hoa stumbled upon a small, abandoned puppy hiding beneath a bush. The puppy, a scruffy little creature with big, sad eyes, was trembling and clearly frightened. Without a second thought, Hoa knelt down and spoke gently to the pup. "It's okay, little one. You're safe now," she reassured it. Kem watched from a distance, sensing his young friend's compassion. When Hoa scooped up the puppy, Kem approached, sniffing the newcomer with curiosity. The puppy wagged its tail hesitantly, encouraged by Kem's friendly demeanor. Hoa beamed with delight and made the decision then and there, they would take the puppy home. When she brought the puppy to An Hung and Lin, they were surprised but quickly saw the joy in Hoa's eyes. "Can we keep him, please? He needs us," she pleaded. An Hung exchanged glances with Lin and smiled. "Of course, sweetheart. But we need to think of a name first," he said, kneeling beside her. After much discussion, they named the puppy Bong, which means fluffy. The little pup quickly settled into their home, and Kem took on the role of mentor, teaching Bong the ways of the world. The two dogs would chase each other around the fields, playfully wrestling in the grass while Hoa laughed, her heart filled with happiness. As Bong grew, he began to mirror Kem's gentle spirit. The village soon recognized the dynamic duo of Kem and Bong, who became inseparable companions. They would accompany Hoa on her adventures, exploring the woods, swimming in the river, and even helping with chores around the farm. One day, as they were playing near the riverbank, Hoa noticed a group of children struggling to build a small raft. They were trying to float it across the shallow water, but it kept sinking. Seeing their frustration, Hoa approached them, her heart full of empathy. "Can I help?" she asked, her voice bright and encouraging. The children welcomed her assistance, and with Bong and Kem by her side, they brainstormed ideas for improving the raft. Working together, they reinforced the structure, using sticks and leaves to make it more buoyant. When they finally finished, the children cheered and carefully launched the raft into the water. As the raft floated successfully, a sense of accomplishment washed over them. They took turns riding it across the river, their laughter ringing out like music. Kem and Bong jumped in to join the fun, splashing around and playfully chasing each other in the water. Word of the day's adventure spread quickly through the village, and soon, everyone gathered by the riverbank to witness the children's creation. An Hung and Lin watched proudly, their hearts swelling with joy as they saw the community coming together. They knew that the spirit of teamwork and kindness was alive and well in the next generation. That evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange and pink, the villagers gathered for a celebration by the river. They shared stories, sang songs, and feasted on delicious food. Hoa, Kem, and Bong were the stars of the evening, with everyone praising their creativity in teamwork. As the festivities continued, Hoa felt a warm glow of happiness enveloping her. Surrounded by friends and family, she realized that the bond they all shared was the true essence of their village. It was a place where kindness flourished, where loyalty meant everything, and where everyone played a part in creating a brighter future. In the following years, Hoa became known for her adventurous spirit and her compassionate heart. She often organized games and activities for the other children, instilling in them the same values that had shaped her own upbringing. Kem and Bong were her loyal companions, always by her side, guiding her with their unwavering support. One day, inspired by her experiences and the stories she had heard, Hoa decided to start a Young Nature Guardians club. She invited her friends to join her in learning about nature and protecting the environment, just as her parents had taught her. They would meet weekly, going on nature walks, planting trees, and caring for the animals in their village. The club quickly gained popularity, with more children eager to join. They learned about local wildlife, sustainability, and the importance of respecting the earth. Each week, they took on new projects, such as creating birdhouses, cleaning up the river, and even organizing fundraisers to support animal shelters. As the club thrived, the villagers noticed a positive change in the children. They were more aware of their surroundings, taking pride in their efforts to protect the environment. Hoa's leadership inspired not just her peers but also the adults, who began to engage more deeply in the community's conservation efforts. One autumn, during the annual Nature Day celebration, Hoa and her friends presented their projects to the villagers. They showcased the birdhouses they had built, shared stories about their adventures in caring for animals, and even displayed artwork highlighting the beauty of nature. The villagers were impressed by the children's dedication and creativity. An Hung, with pride shining in his eyes, stepped forward to commend Hoa and her friends. "You are the future of our village," he declared. "Your love for nature and commitment to making a difference is a testament to the values we hold dear." As the festival continued, the village came together to celebrate not just the achievements of the children but also the enduring legacy of kindness, loyalty, and friendship that had been passed down through generations. Kem, now an elder, watched from his spot near the fire, content to see the fruits of his loyalty reflected in the vibrant spirit of the next generation. In the years that followed, the Young Nature Guardians Club continued to thrive, and Hoa grew into a compassionate leader who inspired change in her community. Kem and Bong remained her steadfast companions, always by her side as they explored the wonders of nature and shared countless adventures. As the village continued to flourish, the stories of An Hung, Lin, Kem, Bong, and Hoa became woven into the fabric of their history. They were tales of bravery, love, and the incredible power of community, reminding everyone that no matter how small an act of kindness might seem, it could spark a chain reaction of change that would last a lifetime. And so, the legacy of loyalty and compassion thrived in that little village, where friendships blossomed, laughter echoed through the fields, and the spirit of caring for one another was cherished by all. In the heart of that community, the bond between humans and animals flourished, creating a beautiful tapestry of love and connection that would endure for generations to come. As the years passed, Hoa blossomed into a young woman, her passion for nature and community growing alongside her. She often reflected on the values her parents had instilled in her: compassion, loyalty, and the importance of nurturing both the land and the relationships within her village. With Kem and Bong still by her side, she felt an unbreakable connection to the world around her. One crisp autumn day, as the leaves turned to vibrant shades of red and gold, Hoa decided it was time to take her passion further. She organized a community renewal day, aiming to enhance the village's green spaces and create a wildlife sanctuary. The event would focus on replanting native trees, building habitats for animals, and educating villagers about biodiversity. Excitedly, she shared her idea with the villagers during a gathering at the community center. "Let's come together to rejuvenate our land and create a sanctuary for our local wildlife," she urged. "This will not only help the animals but also strengthen our bond as a community." Inspired by her enthusiasm, the villagers quickly rallied behind her idea. They contributed tools, seeds, and materials for the project, each person eager to lend a hand. Hoa's parents, An Hung and Lin, were immensely proud, watching their daughter take the lead in a cause that meant so much to them all. On the day of the event, the village was alive with activity. Families gathered early, bringing food for a communal lunch, while others arrived with shovels, rakes, and saplings. Kem and Bong ran joyfully between the groups, greeting everyone and adding to the cheerful atmosphere. Hoa assigned tasks based on the skills and interests of each participant. Some began preparing the soil, while others planted trees, created small ponds for wildlife, and constructed birdhouses to provide shelter for local birds. Children, filled with excitement, gathered leaves and sticks to create small habitats for insects and small animals. As the sun rose higher in the sky, laughter and camaraderie filled the air. Hoa moved from group to group, offering encouragement and sharing her vision. "Together, we're not just planting trees, we're building a home for our local wildlife and showing future generations the importance of caring for our environment," she proclaimed. By midday, the village was transformed. Newly planted saplings stood proudly in rows, while small ponds glimmered under the sunlight. The villagers gathered for lunch, sharing stories and enjoying the fruits of their labor. As they sat together, Hoa took a moment to appreciate the unity and commitment that had brought them together. After lunch, they resumed their work, and as the day drew to a close, the sanctuary began to take shape. Flowers bloomed, trees swayed gently in the breeze, and the sound of birds chirping filled the air. Hoa felt a sense of fulfillment and joy wash over her, knowing that they had created something beautiful together. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, the villagers gathered to celebrate their achievements. They shared a special ceremony, where they each planted a flower in a circle around the new sanctuary, a symbol of their commitment to nurturing the land and each other. Let this sanctuary be a reminder of our bond with nature and our responsibility to protect it, Hoa declared, her voice steady and filled with hope. May we continue to grow together, just like these flowers. With that, the villagers cheered, and the atmosphere was electric with joy and pride. As night fell, they lit lanterns, casting a warm glow over the sanctuary. Stories were shared, laughter echoed, and songs were sung, celebrating not just the day's work but the enduring spirit of their community. In the following months, the sanctuary flourished. Birds returned to nest, small animals found homes, and the once bare patches of land blossomed into vibrant ecosystems. The villagers often visited, watching the transformation unfold, feeling a deep sense of pride in their accomplishment. Kem, now aging gracefully, loved to bask in the sun at the sanctuary, while Bong energetically chased after butterflies and explored the nooks and crannies. Hoa would often sit beside them, reflecting on her journey and the legacy she was building. One spring, as the flowers bloomed once more, Hoa had a vision for the future. She wanted to extend their impact beyond the village. With the support of her parents and the villagers, she began to develop workshops for neighboring communities, sharing their successful practices in environmental stewardship and community building. The first workshop was a resounding success. People from various villages came to learn about sustainable farming, animal care, and the importance of biodiversity. Hoa shared her experiences, emphasizing the power of collaboration and compassion. As word spread, the workshops grew, attracting more participants eager to learn and contribute. Hoa's passion was contagious, and she inspired many to start their own community projects. The bonds between villages strengthened, creating a network of support and shared values. One day, as she prepared for another workshop, Hoa received unexpected news. A regional environmental organization had taken notice of her work and wanted to feature her story in a documentary about young leaders making a difference. Excited yet nervous, Hoa accepted the invitation, eager to share the spirit of her village with a wider audience. The filming day arrived, and the crew set up at the sanctuary. Hoa felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety as she spoke to the camera about her journey, her love for the environment, and the importance of community. Kem and Bong were right by her side, providing comfort as she shared her heart with the world. After the filming, the crew joined the villagers for lunch, immersing themselves in the warm, welcoming atmosphere. They were captivated by the stories of loyalty and kindness that had shaped the village and its people. When the documentary aired, it resonated with viewers across the region. Hoa's story inspired many, encouraging communities to take action for their environments and fostering a sense of unity among diverse groups. Requests for workshops flooded in, and Hoa found herself busier than ever, driven by her passion to make a difference. As the village continued to thrive, Kem aged gracefully but remained a constant source of comfort and companionship for Hoa. Bong had grown into a loyal protector, always at her side during workshops and community events. Together, they embodied the spirit of the village, reminding everyone that kindness and love could change the world. Years later, as Hoa stood at the sanctuary, watching the sun dip below the horizon, she reflected on the journey they had taken together. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the community that had nurtured her, for the values her parents had instilled in her, and for the lessons learned from Kem and Bong. In that moment, she knew that the legacy of loyalty, compassion, and environmental stewardship would continue to thrive, woven into the very fabric of their community. As she looked to the future, she felt hopeful that the seeds they had planted, both literally and metaphorically, would bloom for generations to come, nurturing the bonds between people and nature in beautiful harmony. As the seasons turned once more, Hoa continued to lead her workshops and community initiatives, gaining recognition not just in her region but also beyond. The sanctuary had become a vibrant hub of learning and connection, attracting visitors eager to experience the beauty of nature and the spirit of collaboration. One day, while planning for the upcoming Nature Day festival, Hoa had a brilliant idea. She envisioned creating an inter-village competition, encouraging neighboring communities to showcase their own environmental projects and sustainability efforts. The goal was to inspire creativity, foster camaraderie, and further the spirit of teamwork that had flourished in her village. She excitedly shared her idea with Anhung and Lin. "Imagine the joy of coming together, sharing our achievements, and learning from one another," she exclaimed. Her parents loved the idea and offered their support, helping her spread the word among nearby villages. As the competition drew closer, word spread like wildfire. Villagers began brainstorming their projects, eager to present their innovations. Some planned to create community gardens, while others focused on recycling initiatives or wildlife habitats. The anticipation in the air was palpable, and Hoa felt a sense of pride in what they were about to accomplish together. On the day of the event, the sanctuary was transformed into a lively festival ground. Colorful banners adorned the trees, and stalls filled with local crafts, foods, and information about sustainability lined the paths. People from neighboring villages arrived, bringing with them a spirit of excitement and community. The day kicked off with a warm welcome from Hoa, who stood before the gathered crowd. "Today, we celebrate our shared commitment to our planet and to one another," she declared, her heart swelling with pride. "Let's showcase the amazing work we've all done and learn from each other." The first presentations began, with villagers showcasing their projects. Each display was met with applause and encouragement. Children shared their recycling efforts, while adults demonstrated new farming techniques that enriched the soil without harming the ecosystem. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and inspiration. As the sun reached its peak, everyone gathered for a communal meal, where they shared stories and laughter over delicious food. Kem and Bong roamed among the tables, receiving treats and pets from delighted children. Hoa looked around, seeing the joy on everyone's faces, and felt her heart swell with happiness. In the afternoon, the villagers participated in collaborative activities that emphasized teamwork. They planted more trees in a designated area of the sanctuary, creating a new green space that would serve as a haven for wildlife. They also organized fun games that promoted awareness of environmental issues, turning learning into a joyous experience. As the sun began to set, a special award ceremony was held. Hoa recognized each village for their contributions, celebrating their unique projects and efforts. When she announced the winner, a nearby village that had implemented an innovative community composting program, the crowd erupted in applause. The joy was infectious, as everyone felt proud of the collective achievements. That evening, the festivities continued under the stars. Lanterns floated gently in the night sky, creating a magical atmosphere. Villagers gathered around a bonfire, where they shared stories and songs, celebrating the connections forged throughout the day. As the fire crackled, Hoa reflected on how far they had come. The bonds that had formed through their shared love for nature were stronger than ever, creating a network of support that extended beyond their village. She felt grateful for the lessons learned from her parents, Kem and Bong, who had taught her the value of loyalty, compassion, and community. In the months that followed, the inter-village competition became an annual event, each year growing larger and more inclusive. Villagers looked forward to it, knowing they would not only showcase their efforts but also gain inspiration from their neighbors. The spirit of collaboration flourished, and the environmental initiatives sparked by the event had a lasting impact. One day, as the village prepared for another Nature Day celebration, Hoa received an invitation to speak at a regional environmental conference. The organizers were impressed by her work and wanted her to share her experiences and insights with a broader audience. Excited yet nervous, Hoa accepted the invitation, knowing it was an opportunity to inspire others beyond her village. When the day of the conference arrived, Hoa stood in front of a large audience, her heart racing. As she spoke about the importance of community involvement in environmental stewardship, she could see the interest and engagement in the faces before her. She shared stories of her village, the sanctuary, and the joy that came from working together. Her words resonated with the audience, many of whom were inspired to initiate similar projects in their own communities. After her presentation, she was approached by individuals eager to learn more, asking how they could replicate the success of her village. Returning home, Hoa felt energized by the experience. She knew that her voice could reach far and wide, encouraging others to embrace the values of loyalty, compassion, and stewardship. the seed she had planted in her village was beginning to grow roots in others. As the years continued to unfold, Hoa's impact rippled through communities far beyond her own. She became a mentor to young leaders, guiding them as they developed their projects and initiatives. Kem and Bong remained her loyal companions, always providing comfort and support as she navigated new challenges. One day, while leading a workshop in a neighboring village, Hoa encountered a young girl named Mai who reminded her of her own childhood. Mai was shy yet curious, eager to learn about caring for the environment. Seeing herself in Mai, Hoa took her under her wing, sharing stories and lessons learned over the years. With Hoa's encouragement, Mai blossomed into a confident young leader, initiating her own community projects and inspiring others to join her efforts. The bond they formed was a testament to the importance of mentorship and passing on the torch of compassion and loyalty. As the village continued to thrive, Kem aged gracefully but remained a steadfast presence in Hoa's life. Bong had grown into a wise and loving companion, always ready to support the next generation of young leaders that emerged from their community. One beautiful spring day, Hoa stood in the sanctuary, surrounded by blooming flowers and the sound of birdsong. She marveled at how far they had come together as a community. The values of love, loyalty, and compassion continued to guide them, creating a legacy that would endure for generations. In that moment, as she watched children playing and families enjoying the beauty of nature, Hoa knew that the spirit of their village would live on. The seeds of kindness and stewardship they had planted would continue to blossom, nurturing the bonds between people and the environment for years to come. And as the sun set over the horizon, casting a warm golden light across the sanctuary, Hoa felt a deep sense of gratitude for her journey in the incredible community that had shaped her life. The story of loyalty and love continued to unfold, a beautiful tapestry woven through the hearts of all who called the village home. As the years passed, Hoa's influence in her village and beyond continued to grow. The annual inter-village competition became a cherished tradition, with each year bringing new projects and ideas that fostered not just environmental awareness, but a deep sense of community. Villagers eagerly anticipated the event, often brainstorming ways to outdo their previous efforts while embracing creativity and collaboration. One year, as the competition approached, Hoa had an idea that could elevate the event even further. She envisioned a green innovation fair, where participants could showcase not just completed projects, but also new inventions and sustainable practices. The fair would encourage villagers to think outside the box and inspire one another with innovative solutions to environmental challenges. Excitedly, she presented her idea to the village council. "Imagine a space where we can celebrate creativity and ingenuity in sustainability," she said. "We can host workshops, demonstrations, and even competitions for the best green innovations." The council was enthusiastic, and preparations for the Green Innovation Fair quickly began. As news spread to neighboring villages, excitement built. People began forming teams, brainstorming new ideas, and developing prototypes. There was a palpable buzz in the air, with everyone eager to contribute and showcase their creativity. As the day of the fair approached, the sanctuary transformed into a vibrant marketplace of ideas. Stalls filled with displays of solar ovens, handmade composters, rainwater collection systems, and even innovative gardening techniques lined the paths. Children demonstrated how to create bird feeders from recycled materials, while adults offered workshops on permaculture and eco-friendly crafts. On the day of the event, the sanctuary was alive with energy. Villagers gathered, excited to explore the various projects. Hoa welcomed everyone with open arms, her heart swelling with pride as she witnessed the culmination of so many dreams and efforts. "Today, we celebrate not just our achievements, but the spirit of innovation and collaboration that defines our community," she announced. "Let's learn from one another and inspire each other to continue caring for our beautiful planet." Throughout the day, workshops filled with eager participants, each one learning something new. They experimented with eco-friendly art, constructed miniature gardens, and engaged in discussions about sustainability. Kem and Bong, ever the loyal companions, roamed among the crowds, bringing joy and comfort to everyone they encountered. As the sun reached its peak, Hoa gathered everyone for the main event, a showcase of the most innovative projects. villagers took turns presenting their ideas, each one more inspiring than the last. One group demonstrated a mobile composting unit that could be used in urban areas, while another shared a method for creating biochar to enrich the soil. The audience listened intently, cheering and applauding each presentation. The excitement in the air was contagious, and it was clear that everyone felt a sense of pride in their collective efforts. When it came time to announce the winner, Hoa felt a flutter of anticipation. This year's prize goes to the team that created an innovative solar-powered irrigation system, she declared, her voice filled with joy. The crowd erupted in applause, recognizing the hard work and ingenuity of the winning team. As the fair continued into the evening, the atmosphere shifted to celebration. Villagers gathered around a large bonfire, sharing stories and songs as the stars twinkled above. The sense of community was palpable, and everyone felt a deep connection to one another. Later that night, as the festivities began to wind down, Hoa found herself sitting with her parents, Kem resting at her feet and Bong nestled beside her. "I'm so grateful for all of this," she said, looking at the flickering flames. "It's incredible to see how far we've come together." Lin smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "You've brought so much joy and inspiration to our community, Hoa. You've shown everyone the power of kindness, creativity, and collaboration." An Hung nodded in agreement. "This is just the beginning. You're planting seeds of change that will grow for generations." In that moment, Hoa felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She realized that the journey she had embarked on was not just about environmental stewardship but about nurturing the bonds of community, friendship, and love. As time passed, the Green Innovation Fair became an annual highlight, bringing together not just their village but neighboring communities as well. It sparked a movement that spread beyond their region, inspiring others to initiate similar events and share their successes. One spring, as preparations for the fair were underway, Hoa received an unexpected visit from representatives of a national environmental organization. They had heard about the incredible work being done in her village and wanted to feature it in a documentary that highlighted grassroots movements across the country. Excited yet nervous, Hoa accepted the opportunity, knowing it would shine a light on the collective efforts of her community. The crew arrived, capturing the beauty of the sanctuary, the warmth of the villagers, and the passion that drove their initiatives. When the documentary aired, it reached a wide audience, inspiring countless individuals and communities to take action for their environments. Hoa began receiving messages from people eager to learn from her village, asking for advice and guidance on how to create their own sustainability initiatives. As she continued to lead workshops and mentor young leaders like Mai, Hoa felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever. She was committed to nurturing the next generation of environmental stewards, passing on the lessons she had learned from her parents, Kem, Bon, and her community. Years later, as Hoa stood at the sanctuary, now filled with mature trees and flourishing wildlife, she reflected on her journey. The seeds of kindness, loyalty, and stewardship that had been planted had grown into a thriving legacy, creating a ripple effect of positive change in the world. Kem, now a wise elder, lay peacefully in the sun, while Bong played with a group of children nearby. The sanctuary had become a symbol of hope and resilience, a place where the bonds between people and nature flourished. With a heart full of gratitude, Hoa knew that her village would continue to thrive. The story of loyalty, compassion, and the incredible power of community would endure, woven into the very fabric of their lives. And as the sun set over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the sanctuary, she felt a deep sense of belonging and purpose, a promise that the spirit of their village would live on for generations to come. As the years flowed on, the sanctuary continued to thrive, evolving into a vibrant hub of learning and community engagement. Hoa, now a respected leader, had cultivated an environment where creativity and collaboration flourished. The annual Green Innovation Fair had become a beloved event, drawing participants from near and far, eager to share their sustainable practices and innovations. One day, as preparations for the upcoming fair began, Hoa received an intriguing proposal from a group of university students studying environmental science. They wanted to partner with her village to conduct research on the ecological impacts of their projects. Excited by the potential for new insights and the opportunity to further educate her community, Hoa welcomed them with open arms. When the students arrived, they were amazed by the sanctuary's beauty and the villagers' commitment to sustainability. Hoa introduced them to various initiatives, from the solar irrigation systems to the community gardens. The students conducted workshops, involving villagers in discussions about biodiversity, conservation, and the importance of data collection. As the students worked alongside the villagers, a sense of camaraderie blossomed. They engaged in hands-on activities, such as monitoring wildlife populations and conducting soil tests. The villagers, eager to learn, asked questions and shared their experiences, creating an enriching exchange of knowledge. One afternoon, as they gathered in the sanctuary, a discussion emerged about the importance of storytelling in environmental advocacy. Hoa shared her journey and how the stories of their community had inspired others to take action. The students, captivated, proposed an idea: why not create a series of short films that highlighted the stories of individuals making a difference in their own communities? Thrilled by the concept, Hoa and the villagers collaborated with the students to film various projects, showcasing the ingenuity and passion that fueled their efforts. They captured the laughter of children learning about nature, the hard work of families planting trees, and the joyous spirit of collaboration that defined their village. As the films came together, excitement grew. The students organized a special screening event during the Green Innovation Fair, inviting the community to watch and celebrate their stories. The night of the screening arrived, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Under the twinkling stars, villagers gathered in the sanctuary, seated on blankets and picnic chairs. The flickering light of the projector illuminated their faces, and as the films played, laughter and applause filled the air. Viewers were moved by the stories of resilience, creativity, and the power of community. After the screening, Hoa stood before the crowd, her heart swelling with pride. "Tonight, we've seen how our stories can inspire change," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Together, we're part of something bigger, an incredible movement that connects us all." The following months saw a surge of interest in the village's projects. People from different regions reached out, eager to learn and replicate the success they had witnessed. Hoa, along with the students, began organizing more workshops and training sessions, sharing their knowledge and experiences. As the years turned into a decade, the sanctuary flourished into a recognized model for sustainable community practices. Schools and organizations sought partnerships with Hoa's village to develop similar initiatives, and the legacy of the Green Innovation Fair spread across the country. In the midst of this growth, the bond between Hoa, Kem, and Bong remained steadfast. They continued to explore the sanctuary together, enjoying the beauty of nature and the joy of their friendship. Kem, though older, still brought comfort and wisdom, while Bong's playful spirit inspired everyone around him. One sunny afternoon, as Hoa walked through the sanctuary with her furry companions, she reflected on how far they had come. The laughter of children echoed in the background, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for her community. She knew that the values of loyalty, compassion, and stewardship were woven into every corner of their lives. Inspired by the success of the sanctuary, Hoa decided to take on a new project, a community library focused on environmental literature and educational resources. With the support of the villagers, they began gathering books, creating a space where everyone could learn about sustainability, conservation, and the natural world. The library quickly became a beloved gathering place, where children and adults alike came to explore new ideas. Hoa organized reading sessions, inviting local authors and environmentalists to share their knowledge and experiences. The library buzzed with activity, fostering a culture of learning and curiosity. As the years passed, the village became a beacon of hope, drawing visitors who sought to learn from their practices. Hoa often found herself sharing her story, emphasizing the importance of community and collaboration in creating positive change. One day, a delegation from a prestigious environmental organization visited the village to learn from their model. They were impressed by the vibrant community spirit and the innovative projects that had taken root. Hoa was invited to present at their annual conference, giving her another opportunity to inspire others. On the day of her presentation, she felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Standing before a diverse audience, she spoke passionately about the journey of her village, the importance of grassroots movements, and the power of stories in advocating for environmental change. As she concluded her talk, she encouraged the audience to take action in their own communities. "We all have the ability to make a difference, no matter how small," she said. "Together, we can create a better world for future generations." After the presentation, attendees approached her with enthusiasm, eager to learn more about implementing similar initiatives in their own areas. Hoa felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that her village's story was inspiring others to take meaningful steps toward sustainability. Back home, as the sun set over the sanctuary, casting a warm glow on the familiar landscape, Hoa felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had witnessed the transformative power of community, the impact of kindness, and the importance of nurturing the bonds between people and nature. As Kem and Bong lay beside her, enjoying the tranquility of the evening, Hoa knew that their legacy would endure. The values they cherished, loyalty, compassion, and stewardship, were now ingrained in the fabric of their village, inspiring countless others to carry the torch of sustainability forward. And so, as the stars began to twinkle overhead, Hoa closed her eyes, dreaming of a future where communities continued to thrive in harmony with nature. She felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that the story of her village, rooted in love and dedication, would echo through generations, nurturing the earth and fostering connections that would last a lifetime. As the years went by, the village and its sanctuary became a model for sustainable living, attracting scholars, activists, and curious visitors from all corners of the country. Hoa continued to lead her community with passion, but she also recognized the need for adaptability and innovation to keep pace with the changing world. One spring morning, as she walked through the sanctuary, she encountered a group of students from a nearby university who were eager to learn about sustainable practices. They were excited to engage with the villagers, and Hoa saw an opportunity to broaden their reach even further. Inspired, she proposed creating a mentorship program that paired university students with local community members, fostering knowledge exchange and hands-on learning. The idea took off. With the support of the university and the villagers, the mentorship program blossomed into a vibrant initiative. Each semester, students would visit the village, collaborating on projects that combined academic research with practical applications. They worked together on improving agricultural methods, enhancing biodiversity, and creating educational materials for the community library. As the program grew, it became a two-way street of learning. Villagers shared their traditional knowledge and practices, while students introduced new ideas and technologies that could enhance their efforts. This partnership not only strengthened community bonds but also enriched the educational experience for everyone involved. One year, a particularly ambitious group of students proposed a community-based renewable energy project. They wanted to design and implement a solar energy system to power the village's community center and library. Hoa was thrilled by the idea, recognizing its potential to reduce costs and promote sustainability. The project kicked off with workshops where students and villagers collaborated to understand the energy needs of the community and explore solar technology. Together, they conducted site assessments and engaged in hands-on activities to learn about solar panel installation. As the solar panels were installed, the community center became a hub of activity. The savings on energy bills allowed for new programs, including evening classes and workshops that focused on environmental education, arts, and local history. The library flourished, attracting more visitors eager to learn and engage with the community. With the success of the solar project, Hoa realized they had the potential to inspire others beyond their village. She organized a regional conference on sustainable energy, inviting experts and advocates to discuss renewable solutions for rural communities. The event drew attendees from various backgrounds, all eager to share knowledge and explore collaborative opportunities. During the conference, Hoa presented the village's journey, highlighting the power of community-driven initiatives and the importance of renewable energy in combating climate change. Her speech resonated with many, and discussions sparked about how other communities could replicate their model. As the sun set over the conference venue, attendees shared ideas and made connections, igniting a wave of excitement about the possibilities for sustainable change. Hoa felt a sense of pride, knowing that her village had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for others. In the following months, the mentorship program continued to thrive, with new students joining each semester. They collaborated on projects ranging from wildlife conservation to sustainable farming techniques. The villagers embraced these initiatives, incorporating new methods while preserving their traditional practices. One day, while leading a group of students on a field study, Hoa noticed a young girl named Lin, who had come to observe with her school. She was shy but curious, her eyes shining with interest. Hoa invited her to join the group, encouraging her to ask questions and share her thoughts. Lin quickly became an enthusiastic participant, often offering insights that surprised everyone. She began volunteering regularly at the sanctuary, helping with workshops and engaging with visitors. Hoa saw great potential in her and took her under her wing, nurturing her passion for environmental stewardship. As Lin grew more confident, she proposed organizing a Youth Eco Summit to empower other young people in the region. Inspired by her energy, Hoa supported her idea, helping her plan the event. They gathered input from other students and villagers, creating a platform for youth to share their ideas, challenges, and innovative solutions for environmental issues. The summit drew participants from across the region, uniting passionate young advocates. Lin and Hoa led discussions on topics like climate action, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable agriculture. The enthusiasm in the room was palpable, and many attendees left inspired to take action in their own communities. As the years rolled on, the village continued to evolve, embracing new ideas while staying rooted in its values. The sanctuary became a center of learning, creativity, and connection, drawing visitors who sought to experience its magic. One day, as the sun set behind the hills, Hoa sat with Kem and Bong, reflecting on the journey they had taken together. She felt a profound sense of gratitude for the community that had nurtured her, for the lessons learned, and for the friendships forged along the way. A thought crossed her mind: it was time to document their story, to ensure that the legacy of their journey would be preserved for future generations. With the help of the university students and other villagers, she began compiling their experiences into a book, a collection of stories, practices, and wisdom that could inspire others. As she wrote, she captured the laughter of children learning about nature, the hard work of families coming together, and the spirit of resilience that defined their community. Each page reflected the bonds of loyalty, compassion, and stewardship that had blossomed within the sanctuary. Once the book was completed, Hoa organized a launch event at the community center. Villagers, students, and visitors gathered to celebrate the culmination of their collective efforts. The atmosphere was filled with excitement as Hoa shared excerpts from the book, recounting their journey and the lessons learned along the way. The book was well received, quickly becoming a resource for other communities seeking to foster sustainable practices. It ignited a renewed interest in environmental advocacy, and soon, requests for workshops and presentations poured in from various organizations and schools. As the village thrived and inspired others, Hoa continued to mentor Lin and other young leaders, ensuring that the values of loyalty and stewardship were passed on to the next generation. The spirit of the sanctuary lived on, its roots deepening with each new project and connection forged. Years later, as she watched children playing in the sanctuary, laughter echoing through the trees, Hoa felt a sense of fulfillment that words could hardly express. The seeds of kindness they had planted had grown into a lush, interconnected community, flourishing in harmony with nature. With Kem lying peacefully beside her and Bong chasing after butterflies, Hoa closed her eyes, embracing the warmth of the sun and the joy of the moment. She knew that the legacy of their village, filled with love and dedication, would continue to inspire and nurture the earth for generations to come. And in that peaceful sanctuary, surrounded by nature and community, she felt truly at home. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the sanctuary, Hoa felt a wave of emotions wash over her. It was a moment of reflection, a culmination of years filled with laughter, hard work, and unwavering community spirit. She watched as children raced through the wildflowers, their joy contagious, while the adults gathered to share stories and meals, their bonds stronger than ever. In that serene moment, Hoa's heart swelled with gratitude for the journey they had taken together. She thought of Kem, who had been her loyal companion through it all, and Bong, whose playful spirit had brought so much joy. They were not just pets, they were symbols of loyalty, love, and the profound connection between all living beings. Feeling inspired, Hoa gathered the villagers around the old oak tree that stood at the heart of the sanctuary, its branches reaching toward the sky. She began to speak, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. Today, we celebrate not only our accomplishments but the spirit that binds us. Together, we have created a community where kindness thrives, where every voice is heard, and where our love for nature fuels our actions. Tears glistened in the eyes of many as she continued. This journey was not just about environmental stewardship, it was about nurturing one another, learning from our mistakes, and growing together. Each of you has contributed to this beautiful tapestry of life, and I am profoundly grateful to each and every one of you. As the crowd stood in silent reverence, Hoa invited them to close their eyes and take a moment to reflect on their own journeys, the challenges they had overcome, the lessons they had learned, and the love that had woven them together. In that silence, a sense of unity enveloped them, a shared understanding that they were part of something greater. When they opened their eyes, the sun had set, and the first stars twinkled in the night sky. Hoa smiled, feeling the warmth of community surround her. Let us carry this spirit forward, inspiring others to embrace compassion and stewardship. Our story does not end here, it continues in every act of kindness we share and every seed we plant. With hearts full of hope and determination, the villagers joined hands, creating a circle of unity. They sang a simple song about love for the earth, their voices rising harmoniously into the night. In that moment, under the vast expanse of the sky, they knew they were bound together not just by their efforts but by their hearts. As the song faded into the stillness, Hoa looked around at the faces illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns. She realized that the legacy they had built was not merely a collection of projects but a vibrant community rooted in love, loyalty, and resilience. In the days that followed, the sanctuary continued to thrive, echoing with laughter and learning. Each generation embraced the values instilled by the last, ensuring that the story of their village, of compassion, collaboration, and care for the earth, would endure through time. And as Hoa walked through the sanctuary, hand in paw with Kem and Bong, she felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Their journey had been a testament to the power of community, and she knew that the seeds they had sown would blossom for years to come, nurturing not just their village, but the world beyond. In her heart, she carried the knowledge that love was the greatest legacy of all, a gift that would resonate through the ages, binding them together in an unbreakable bond. And in that sacred space, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of her community, she felt a profound sense of belonging, knowing they would always be home.